Hey everybody, in CS-Man 001 here. Hey Cassie. No, nothing bad happened, but I do have a bit of a story. I've got yeah, it's a bit of a story. That's one way to put it. With how everything happened this weekend, that it was burp an experience. Yeah, we'll be talking about that in a little while. Because basically my weekend is Monday, Tuesday this week. So take of that as you will until I decide to tell everything that occurred, because I swear that I have the worst luck with traveling of anyone that I know. Like, every other time I fly, probably 2 out of every 3 times I fly, something goes horribly wrong. And I swear it happens to me more often than people that I know. I mean, sure, it happens to anyone that flies a lot. Sure, that's to be expected. But it seems to happen to me pretty damn often. Okay, but tonight... So yeah, basically today is my Saturday and tomorrow's my Sunday. But first off, I wanted to point out, there's actually several things coming up on PlayStation to play in the next week or so that I wasn't even really thinking about. So one of them is the coin game. This is actually like an arcade simulator type of game that looks really fun, but also like slightly creepy and has a weird survival mode to it. This comes out on the 19th, so not yet, but that's going to be an interesting one to play for sure. And then, later this week, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly is getting either remade or remastered, and it comes out later this week, and I legitimately forgot that was going to be a thing. That game is supposedly one of the scariest games of all time, so I think I'm going to have to play it. Just because, like I said, it's apparently one of the scariest games of all time, and I could use a good scare. Although I don't know if Resident Evil Requiem is actually scary or not, I haven't gotten to play it yet. I mean, I will play it at some point, but it hasn't been super important to me yet, because once again, 20-hour platinum for $70 is not really something I want to spend right now. Seems like a bit of a excessive use of money. But yeah, Fatal Frame and the coin game. Fatal Frame's only like a $50 game, I think, so it's not going to be too bad. But yeah, so several things interesting like that coming up. Also, finally got this SpongeBob trophy guide published. Gonna try to get back into more trophy guide writing this year, because I really took kind of a... Not really, I guess you could say kind of a break last year, because I only wrote last year... What all did I write last year or collab on? Clock Tower was 2024, the very end of 24. Did this guide for LEGO Star Wars 2. So we did that. That was a collaborative one. The walkthrough for I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, which ended up actually getting a lot of votes in Game Guide of the Year. Black Ops 7 got a fair number of votes as well. Thank God the guy I was writing this with actually enjoyed the game enough to want to write a guide for it, because I sure as heck didn't. Then College Football 26 and that giant mess. Yeah, I think those were the only ones I wrote last year. And then so far this year, SpongeBob and Thrillville, which is pretty solid. But now we go to Retro Achievements, where tonight's stream will be taking place. Super Mario Kart Horizon... Where do people get these hacks and stuff from? Like, where do you get access to this stuff? The Hey Arnold game, so... I actually remember this game. I actually legit remember this game. I just don't have any way to play Game Boy games yet. I don't have an emulator for Game Boy Advance games, but I legit remember this game, and I actually did beat it when I was a kid, but I've never got anywhere near 100%ing it, and it's actually got what looks like some very specific and challenging achievements in it. Things like you can only jump a certain amount of times while also not taking damage during boss fights, so that should be an interesting one to eventually try out at some point. But tonight, I think we're going to go and do something fairly relaxing and fun. So, where is it in here? I just want to do something chill tonight, honestly, because this weekend was very, very stressful. Well, where is it? Do I not have it in my... Is it something I don't actually have in here? Wait a minute. Where's the game? Yeah, it's not in... Either I just scrolled past it and didn't see it, or... It better still be in here. Unless they took it down to Okay, no, they didn't. I was about to say, like, did they take it down to do a revision on it or something? Oh, I didn't have it in my want to play, that's why. Okay, so yeah, today we're going to do Lego Star Wars, the video game's PS2 version. Like I said, I just want to do something relaxed, chill, nothing too intense, something that's fun. So, for this version of the game, we already did the other version of it. This version, you literally just complete the game, including the secret levels, so 18 levels. True Jedi status in every level. All mini-kits, all things purchased, all characters unlocked. Then you have to reach 1,000,000 studs, which we'll have to do anyway, 100% all the levels. And then there's just a handful of miscellaneous achievements, but the ones in this game are actually easier than they are in other games, or in the other version of the game. So all we have to do for miscellaneous is use the brushes extra with General Grievous, because it's interesting. This one, that's probably the hardest achievement in this set, even though it's really not difficult. And then die as a couple of characters, so should be something fun, just nice and chill today, just because, like I said, I kind of need it, because this weekend was something. So, what exactly happened over the weekend? Of course, as I talked about before, I went to Dallas for a work conference. And granted, compared to the one I went to in Boston last year, we got fed pretty well, which was nice. And then I have to skip. And we got past the music. Perfect. So, they fed us pretty well this time. Like buffet-style food on all 3 meals. And it was actually pretty good food this time. Various meats and sides. Nothing potato-based, though, except at breakfast, which was a little bit weird. But anyways, we learned stuff, of course, as to be expected at one of these meetings. But the second day, it was super freaking boring. Because the meetings went from, like 8:30 in the morning to, 3:30 in the afternoon. It was very boring. Very, very slow. And honestly, probably not all that useful, in all honesty. Go ahead and buy all the hints. There's not an achievement for that in this one, though. It's because it's all the hints and extras. But hey, we bought a bunch of stuff, so let's go ahead and save our game. And flying down there wasn't that bad, aside from the fact that to get there, I had to get up at super early in the morning, of course, and fly out at 6 in the morning or whatever it was. You guys can let me know how the audio sounds if either the game or myself needs to get adjusted. So then, that was all quite boring, in all honesty. And that's how my Saturday went, which is why I was off today no matter what. Then came the problems. Get to the airport with plenty of time, and it turns out that my flight, which had been okay for much of the day, is now delayed. It happens. Again, it's something that happens. It's not that big a deal. But we never got any explanation as to why it was so badly delayed. And then it just started getting more and more delayed. Uh-oh, that music might be copyrighted. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I need to turn the music down. That's one thing I do need to do. Turn down the music. Can't be having that happen. Don't need no copyright crap tonight. So, part of the problem was I had a pretty tight connection in Atlanta. And like I said, they never told us why it got delayed. But then, the part that really, this is where I got really pissed off at because it was such a stupid thing that happens. We're getting on the plane, we're already, an hour delayed, but there is at least a chance I can make my second flight and get home on late Saturday night. There's still a chance of it. Also, thank God, no damageless achievement for this level. Thank God, because that was legitimately rather... Well, I wouldn't say it was that bad, because honestly it wasn't. It only took, 5 tries to get. But there was that damageless achievement in the other version of the game where we had to... No, wait, it wasn't damageless. I'm sorry, it wasn't damageless. It was, get through this without picking up a single stud, which was definitely a weird one. Alright, so we gotta turn off the music because I don't want to get copyrighted, unfortunately. And then, despite the fact that we were all late at that point, and the fact that they very well knew that everyone on that flight, or many people on that flight, had tight connections to make in Atlanta, because they saw the pilots past our giant line of people at the customer service next to the gate, trying to figure out, if we could make our connections or not. So, what does the brilliant pilot and co-pilot choose to do? Despite having nearly everyone on board, they decide to wait there for another 20 minutes, just so 2 dumbasses that couldn't bother to be there on time, despite already having had over an hour delay in which they could have gotten there, they decided to wait for them and screw over everyone else on the plane. So I missed my connection and ended up having to stay in a very shitty Atlanta hotel, by the way. Very shitty. And then fly out super early the next day, which meant going through Atlanta security, which is a fucking nightmare. First of... Wait, that said first of 60. What does it mean, first of... Oh, wait, I think I know what it means. I bet that's the cumulative achievement for Episode 1, completing it to 100%. I bet that's what that is. I need all the studs I can get because, 1, we need to fill the true Jedi meters, and more importantly, we're going to need well over 2 million studs to purchase everything in the game. It's over 2 million just to purchase all the extras, much less all the other stuff. The characters are another, probably, million, if I remember correctly. So yeah, absolutely brilliant job by the brilliant pilots of Delta. Deciding to hold up the entire plane, full of people trying to make a tight connection, to let 2 dumbasses that couldn't bother to get there on time still get on. So that was just wonderful. If you can tell, I'm still salty about it. Okay, let's knock out this miscellaneous trophy achievement. Let's see if I did it correctly. Because right now, TC's down to just a leg. Got it! There's our first Chivo, and our... probably one of the hardest ones in the game, if we're being honest, which is just crazy to think. I mean, I say that, but technically finding all the mini-kits in this game can be a little bit tougher just because there were not a lot of guides out there back in the old days, and the fact that you can't just save and quit in the middle of levels, you have to actually finish the levels. So yeah, that was my experience. It was not a fun one. So basically, had to throw my entire weekend away for a company that pays us at the bottom 15% for research in the entire country. Because I did actually eventually get around to running some numbers, and that's about where we position. Bottom 15 to bottom 20%, depending on where you look. So, still better than the bottom 1% of Adam's now hopefully bankrupted ass, but definitely not acceptable for giving up an entire weekend. Not happy about that, so... Because I am not a salaried employee. If I was a salaried employee, it would be different. I'm not salaried, I'm not on call, I am hourly. Can we actually get this one? I think we can. Possibly. Yeah, I think we can. Can we get this one? Yeah, I think we can. And this is just gonna need us studs, but we need all the studs we can get, so this is totally fine. So yeah, that was, not a fun experience at all. No more... Does it not say True Jedi when it... Huh. That's weird. Hey, Cassie? Yeah, I know I also started a little bit late, so I don't know if that's what you're referring to with the original comment. was starting to watch the new Senza video because he uploaded finally, because he only uploads a couple times a year, but the videos are always absolute bangers. He can even make his sponsored moments in it, like whenever the talk about the sponsor part of it, those can even be entertaining. Yeah, so that was my adventure for the weekend. Not a good one. Not in a good way. Oh, I don't normally stream Monday, but like I was saying before, today is my Saturday. Because I basically worked for 7 days straight. As an hourly employee that's not on call either. Mostly due to bullshit that shouldn't have happened or was completely out of my control. Alright, we already got 4 of the ones in this level. So yeah, not a fun weekend. Basically threw my whole weekend away. Well, I've got my annual review coming up at some point once my boss gets back in. I think next week, the one that was just had the 6th child. I'm not joking. For anyone who wasn't here for those conversations, that was unexpected. That was extremely unexpected because I didn't think she could still have children. Okay, so that I think is, yeah, we can't get to that. We don't even have an R2 unit right now. We can't even get one up there if we wanted to. First level's pretty easy, though, of course, which is good. Made some progress in Pirates of Hawaii. Actually got a bunch of trophies for Marvel Rivals. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know why every time I try to fly, something typically goes wrong. And look, again, things like delays, they happen. I get that. But given that 2 out of every 3 times I fly, something like that goes wrong, it seems to happen to me more often than other people I know, including my mom, who flies way more than I do for work. She does not have statistically as common of issues as I do, for some reason. Almost every time I fly, something like that goes wrong. So, maybe that's God telling me not to fly very much? I don't know. Because again, it sure as hell seems to happen a lot. And we can't get to that. Is that one just gonna jiggle? I guess so. Yeah, it sure does. It happens to me more than most people that I know. More than anyone I know, off the top of my head. And then it's just also so frustrating because we still have the Indian employee that refuses to do its work most of the time. And it keeps forcing me to have to drive to the other office way far away to do its work for it. Means, oh, okay, I think we just, like, nearly murdered a bunch of droids. That was not very nice of us. But they also won't fire it either, so... Because the Doctor loves it for some reason. I'm using it as an it because I barely consider it a human. Easy Marvel Rivals are done, more or less on the annoying ones. Oh, gotcha. I still remember even when, like, Platinum Pace and others were... I don't think I can get that. I think I'm gonna need a Astromech Droid or Boba Fett to get to that, unfortunately. It's okay, though. Not an issue. Hey, T-Jade. So yeah, because of all that, I'm going to get a bunch of mileage for the month of February. Which is good. That's going to be a nice Lego fun, pretty much. Don't worry, I'm not stupid enough to buy those weird smart brick sets, because I still don't even know what they actually are really supposed to be. They're so weird. It's like, I guess they think that children these days don't have an imagination anymore, so they have to put special bricks in that cost a bunch of money to make the sound effects happen, so kids that don't have an imagination can imagine things or something. If that makes any sense. It's weird. I've seen like Jane Breaks do reviews of some of them. There was one of them he said actually wasn't really a bad set. I think it was the Millennium Falcon one. That's actually a good set as a build. Hey, there's an achievement. Let's go. That would make everything so much better. Okay, we're off to the second level of the game. I also don't know if this one's going to become a video or not. If I do, it'll probably just... It might be a short. Yeah, I might make this one into a short or something, because this is objectively an easier game than the other version of LEGO Star Wars that I already did. It's just grindy. I don't know, maybe I'll just... I guess I could make it a shorter video the way the Bluey one was. Which, if anyone actually tuned into that, let me know. That was one that I admittedly kind of scraped together faster than I probably should have. Okay, we can't do anything with that yet. Because I actually edited probably 50% of that video in a single short session one night, so... It wasn't necessarily one of my better works, but I got through it at least because it was a shorter one, so... Just had to really get one of those uploaded. Now I can actually focus on the next one I want to do. I am doing well, TJ, just kind of tired after all the insanity of this weekend. It was an adventure. Though there was a nice, pretty big mall near where I was staying, which was pretty cool. Went over there, it had an ice skating rink in it, which is kind of awesome. Had that and a few other things. Or actually, I mean, there was a lot of other stuff. It had a real big food court and everything. Actually, like, almost like 2 food courts. One at the ice rink and one on the upper floors. Although most of the stores were clothing-oriented, unfortunately, so not really something super interesting. I was hoping for, like, a retro game store or something. None of that, unfortunately. They had some of the stores that we have around here. They had like a box lunch store. They had both a Spencer's and a Hot Topic, which is just very like early 2000s when you think about that. Pretty funny actually, because again, that's like the most 2000s thing to see in a mall. Aside from the malls themselves being a very 2000s and before kind of thing. And the hotel I stayed at that night was very nice. The drug companies, they pay us well and they feed us well usually and put us in pretty good places. Like that. Because the hotel I stayed at in Boston for that conference last year was very nice. Though they didn't feed us very well on that trip, unfortunately. This one, though, they fed us great. I don't think I can get to this one yet. I think we're going to need Jar Jar for that. We are. And then it was really... Ooh, wait a minute. Oh, we can get it. Let's go. And then it was really funny because, like, as I was leaving, I almost wish I was staying another night. because an entire Air Emirates flight crew checked in as I was about to leave. As they were fully dressed in, like, there were the pilots and stuff as well, but both of the, or like the entire group of flight attendants, all the beautiful Persian women and all the dressed up in red, nice, almost, I guess I could kind of call them suits or something, but very attractive with that, nice clothing, high heels, very, very attractive, so almost wish I had been there for one more night. You never know what would have happened. Probably nothing, because I'm too shy to actually talk to most human beings. But you never know. You never know what could have happened. A boy can dream. Bought Astrobot last week at GameStop, so 35 bucks for it. Ooh, not bad. Not bad at all. It's very much worth that much money. It was worth a full 60 bucks. Or 70 bucks or whatever it cost initially. It's a great game. Still probably my favorite new release of 2024. Of course, I still prefer Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake, but that was a remake, or remaster. So yeah, I can dream. I had no chance, most likely, but I can dream. I still have an imagination that apparently the Smart Bricks people don't have, because they're buying smart bricks, which means you have no imagination. Because you need bricks to make the noises for you. Yeah, that was my weekend. It was an adventure. Not the most positive one ever. Not to say, you can use the force on that, right? I can confidently say that's the last time I'm going on a business trip anytime soon, because that was just miserable. But finally got back on Sunday morning, and now I'm basically having a weekend. And that is the one good thing with being hourly and, you know, not salaried or on call of any kind, is that our boomerest boomer to ever boomer, that's our CEO, is not going to allow us to get overtime. He would much rather us not show up for a couple of days and have to pay even a single cent of overtime. So, that's okay. That means I get today off and tomorrow off. Which was great for today, because I was able to get several things done. I had to drop someone off the dry cleaners, got my grocery shopping done, set up a tire appointment for tomorrow because one of my tires has a slow leak. Which is always such a great thing to have happen. I mean, it's not a big deal, because they should just be able to patch it, so it might be like 30 bucks, which still sucks, but it's not that big of an issue. Went to GameStop today and bought 2 PS3 games, Killzone 3 and Call of Juarez Bound. Oh man, I remember... I feel like I remember that game, but never actually played it. But then Killzone 3, of course, I definitely played. Very fun game. Better than Shadowfall by far. Though I still think 2 was probably my favorite in that series. I'd love to see us get a full-blown remake or remaster of Killzone 1. I don't know if it'll ever happen, because I think that PlayStation just doesn't give a shit about Killzone. And I mean, Guerrilla certainly doesn't give a shit about Killzone either. It would be nice to have. It was actually a fun game from what I remember. I played it on the PS3. But I had my doctor's appointment today as well. It was good, except for the fact that when they retested a specific blood test, a CBC as it's called, which is a specific thing to test like red blood cells, white blood cells, stuff like that. Unfortunately, I'm starting to worry that I might be anemic, because it somewhat runs in the family. It's not a huge deal because there's easy ways to treat it. But it's a chronic thing that never fully goes away, and apparently iron pills just literally taste like shit, or give some kind of really weird something like that with them, so... Because we retested certain things because 6 months ago it was right after I had donated blood. I don't know, maybe I was just dehydrated or something. Hopefully I'm not actually anemic, which would be really, really surprising because I eat a lot of meat, especially red meat. So I'd be very surprised if I actually was, but stranger things have happened. Genetics are a complicated thing, and again, I'm pretty sure that also runs in my family the way that high blood pressure does, so... We will see what happens with that. Hopefully, I'll get everything tested again in about 5 or 6 months, so maybe then it'll be back to normal if I continue to not donate blood and actually be hydrated for it and actually fast for it, because I didn't know I was actually going to get tested or anything today. We'll see what happens with that, but everything else was fine. But in better news with that, I might be able to go on to a GLP-1 soon. And that is really good news. Yeah, Killzone 3's been shut down for years. The only reason I didn't do Killzone 3 multiplayer was because, at the time, I would have done it, but at the time, it wasn't saving stats correctly, so I was really worried about trying to start it and trying to finish it. I had enough time to finish it if it didn't break or anything on me, but knowing my luck, I knew it probably would break on me. But yeah, I might actually get the chance to go onto one of the GLP-1s and actually start to lose weight, which would be wonderful. It might even be covered in Shadowfall. Because 2 and Shadowfall obviously have just god-awful multiplayer to get through, but 3 was pretty straightforward. Especially if you aren't doing the DLC. If you aren't doing the DLC, I think you could self-boost everything with 2 consoles, except maybe one of them, which isn't bad at all. But yeah, with the GLP-1s, he wants to put me on and try Zet-bound specifically. And it might even end up being covered by insurance, which is even better. That's the best part of it. Though, thanks to the whole Trump RX thing, they're actually not that insanely, stupidly overpriced anymore. Like, they're anywhere from $150 to $300 a month, which is, obviously that's a cost. But when you remember the fact that before Trump RX, they were $1,500 a month, $1,000 to $1,500 a month, not that bad. Oh, wait, those are my friends. Platinum and Skyrim last week on Sunday. Oh, nice! Glad you got that done. Glad it hopefully stopped screwing you over. Or was it Cassie that got screwed over by that game? Or was it both of you? It might have been both of you. Yeah, I'm gonna be excited for that, because my biggest problem... I wouldn't say I eat, exactly all that well, but my bigger problem is snacking, or just eating too much. Like, it was you, okay, got it. It's like, a normal, healthy human being is not going to be able to eat an entire giant meal at a teppanyaki restaurant in the US in a single sitting. I can eat an entire meal at a teppanyaki restaurant in a single sitting. And that's not a good thing. I'm not a competitive eater trying to do so, so that's clearly not a good thing. So if it can stop me from wanting to eat as much, that's the biggest issue I have. I have managed to cut out most of my sugar, which is good. That's at least a start. Though it's currently Girl Scout cookie season, and given that I have coworkers that have Girl Scouts as kids, and the fact that those cookies are so freaking delicious, I had to buy some of those, and I'm still eating off of them, and will for a while, so... Unfortunately, that is a bit of a sugar intake. But otherwise, I don't really eat too much in the way of sugar. It's just, I eat way too much, and that includes carbs sometimes. Yeah, if I can eat less, that's gonna make a big difference, actually. It might actually be what it takes to get me to lose weight again. Back to where I was up in, after a year in Cincinnati. Because for those, as a lot of you guys are newer viewers to that, because back then, I actually lost a lot of weight when I was in Cincinnati. Because I was around 250 when I graduated college. And I got it down to 210, over the next year in Cincinnati. I disciplined myself enough with a lower carb diet, and the fact that I was young at the time, because I was, 22, 23 years old. So it was a lot more manageable, because you can lose weight more easily when you're young. I'll point that out to anyone in here that's younger. If you want to lose weight, do it while you're younger, because it's a lot easier to do normally. And I kept it off for a while, but then COVID happened, and over the next couple of years, gained it back. And never really... The only time I managed to really lose anything since then was when I did the carnivore diet for like a week and a half at the end of 2024. And granted, that diet, it works. It absolutely works. You will lose weight on it if you stick to it correctly. You will lose weight on it. Two major issues, though. Eating nothing but meat gets very boring after about a week. And secondly, it's fucking expensive. So, yeah, it's a little too expensive to do long term. At least in my line of work. I don't get paid enough to be able to do that long term. Although if I had like a personal chef that could make everything for me and make it taste good and use like different spices and stuff, that'd be a different case, but I ain't rich enough for that. At all. And never will be, so unless I win the lottery. Which if I win the current, like, 530 million Mega Millions, I could do that, actually. It probably wouldn't be the GLP ones, because then I could actually have all the time and energy needed to go to the gym, could have a personal chef to do the carnivore diet correctly, but they'd be able to actually make it all taste really good. And, like, buy the nicest cuts of meat and stuff. So, yeah. Started Resistance Retribution last Thursday. Almost done with the trophies. Incredibly mediocre. Yeah, it was mediocre. I didn't mind it. Like, I didn't think it was a bad game by any means. But definitely not anything to write home about. Well, it's going to be weird, though, because apparently those things... they have other effects as well. With, like... they apparently make it so things like consuming alcohol or any sort of drugs or even, like, gambling and stuff. Apparently it makes all of it a lot less desirable, so a lot of people just don't get any enjoyment out of those kind of things. Which is obviously good for your health to not want to do any of those things. But if that's the case, that's going to be really weird. It's going to be really, really weird. Because I love drinking on the weekends, but that's going to be really, really weird if I don't want to do that anymore. But hey, it's good for health, so I'm not mad about it at all. Good for your health. But it'll be weird. It'll be a change if I can only eat, you know, a fraction of what I currently eat. That's gonna be just really, really weird. To only be able to eat, like, a literal fraction of what I currently eat. That means that if we go to the good teppanyaki place here again, I'll literally only be able to eat, like, a quarter of it. And take the rest of it home. Which is gonna be so freaking weird. Or, like, for my birthday dinner when we usually go to a steak place for my birthday, I might not even be able to eat the whole meal there. Which is gonna be so freaking weird. It's gonna be a weird change, that's for sure. Like, I used to be the kind of guy that could actually get their money's worth at any buffet. Take me to a Golden Corral, I am absolutely getting my money's worth easily, multiple times over, because Golden Corral's also like 20 bucks, so it's not really like you're needing to eat that much to get your money. This is platinums. Yeah, can you still do 3? I thought 3 had something affected on it. Or is it just like something you can do in co-op, but not online? Like, you don't need online for it. Double check on 3. The one on the Vita, as far as I know, was still obtainable, but it did have a multiplayer trophy, so who knows? And then 2, of course, is unattainable. Everyone kind of knows that one at this point. Or like going to, we have a Texas Day Brazil here. It's a Brazilian steakhouse. And last time I went there was during that short period of time where I was doing carnivore. And I was able to get my money's worth there. I certainly won't be able to anymore. Which is gonna, again, be the weirdest thing in the world. Not being able to eat much is gonna be so freaking weird because I had a big appetite for so long at this point, so it's gonna be very, very weird. But I'm excited because it'll mean good for my health. It'll mean I live longer. It'll mean I lose weight. It'll mean my blood pressure gets better. My cholesterol gets better. It'll make me actually attractive to females. Hopefully. This one play in K9, but don't have it, and they delisted it from the PS4 store. It's not on Plus. That's like me with that Ride to Hell Retribution DLC. It's delisted, so I'll never be able to get it unless I gamble on getting a German copy that never used the code, which is a massive gamble because it's like 40 bucks per copy if I want to try that. Resistance 3, you can get it with 2 controllers. Oh, okay then. That's good to know, actually. That's very good to know. I've done the one on the Vita, and Retribution, I've just got to do the other version of. It's not hard, I just haven't really gotten around to doing it. K9's my Kung Fu trophy. Stronger trophy is very time-consuming. I wouldn't know anything about it because I never played a Mortal Kombat game outside of the actual arcades. Yeah, it'd be nice to actually lose weight, be healthier for the first time in a long time. All sorts of benefits for that. But we shall see how that goes. We shall see what ends up happening. Well, my parents said they'd help me with paying for it if I couldn't get it straight through insurance and just had to get it through Trump RX. Because again, it's nowhere near the cost that it once was. It's the big thing about it. $300 a month at most is far more affordable than up to $1,500 a month, so we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens. I will definitely report to you guys anything that does happen with all of that. Medicine is continually advancing. A lot of good ways. Lots of good things happening. Because I'm working on drugs on clinical research studies that actually are making a difference for people that are on them. So we shall see. Cassie, the trophies or the geo on through episode 1 here. Which, of course, we've all critically reassessed Star Wars prequel trilogy and typically agree that it's not as bad as we thought it was. Especially in comparison to that. Except for the fact that credits is the one thing they did have. And Watto didn't take credits, he needed something more real. Whatever the fuck that actually meant. Which meant gambling. Okay, this mission. Arguably the hardest mission in the game, especially if you're a 10-year-old child. I think this is probably universally considered the hardest mission as a children. Yeah, I think that as a children, this was universally considered the hardest mission in this game because of the weird time limits and everything. And I definitely failed at it plenty of times when I was younger, and probably will fail at it tonight. Because it's such a weird change-up, because, like, the other two vehicle missions aren't on timers. Sure, they're not, like, the easiest missions in the game or anything, but they're not on timers like this. It's the only one that officially is that's a vehicle mission. Obviously, other missions are on timers in the main game, but regardless... Yeah, we might not make it this time. But you know what? I will take the mini-kits that I got. The friends we make along the way are always a good thing. We weren't even that far behind, though, which is the issue there. Like, we weren't even that far behind. They don't disqualify you in actual racing for that, do they? And all I ever watch is Formula 1. I don't watch any fucking NASCAR. Anyway, all them studs. And another mini kit, let's go. And I missed those studs, but that's fine, we'll get next time. Like, even if you get, like, right in front of him almost, you still end up barely making it. Challenge Tower would make you rage. I rage at all sorts of video games. You'll survive raging at a video game. I rage at games that are legitimately not that hard sometimes. Most of the mini-kits. We're not going to get all of them, I don't think, but we're going to get most of them. Sebulba is cheating. Unless it's actually built into the rules that you can do this, which it might very well be. I still remember there's an arcade game that I remember from my childhood. Yeah, there's a literal arcade game that's an actual pod racer machine. God, that game was awesome back in the day. I don't know anywhere that still has one of them, but I freaking remember that thing. That was such a cool idea. Yeah, it's like a straight-up pod racing capsule, and you control it similarly to how the pod racer controls in the movie, and in this, well, in the movie at least. Really, really cool design. Like, that'd be an awesome one to have. That would be such a cool thing to have in your house if you're, like, super rich or something. That'd be so freaking cool to have. That's one of those games I would love to have if I was, like, super rich on stuff. Love to have that one. Would love to have the old Area 51 shooter because I played the shit out of that at a pizza place at home when I was a children. Have the South Park pinball machine. That would be one I'd love to have. Okay, we're only missing one, and I think it's at the end of this area right here. No, I missed it! Wait, die. I want to try again. I don't want to miss it. Try again. I get the Platinum Man-Eater after Resistance. Solid, very fun game, very much worth playing. Greater challenges, some are bullshit hard. Oh boy, that's wonderful. Injustice 1 does the same thing. I know that Injustice 1 is hard. That one I specifically remember people saying is pretty brutal. Okay, that's all the mini-kits on this level. So we actually finished the level. But no individual achievements for each level that you finish in this one the way it was in the other version of the game. Which is fine. You still have to 100% the game anyway, so it's not really a big deal. All mini-kits attained. Stud meter filled. I killed myself. I said this is probably the hardest actual main level of this game. Between the timer and the obstacles and everything, it's harder than the other vehicle missions. But yeah, that was one of the, like, coolest machines I remember from the arcade. Like, if I could have a few arcade games, if I could pick, like, 5 arcade games to have in my house, if I was, like, super rich and could just afford to go and buy them. One of them would be that Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer. Come on, man, I was so freaking close. Another one would be the South Park Pinball Machine. Absolutely. That is my favorite pinball machine of all time. I just don't know anywhere that has one outside of... There's like a place in Vegas that had one, I remember. That was years ago. The retro places around here, as far as I'm aware, don't have one. But they could now. I haven't been to any of them recently, so you never know. I'd love to have both of those. I'd love to have the old Area 51 arcade game, because, I used to play the shit out of that at a pizza place nearby where I grew up at. I might have just about beaten it when I was a kid as well, put enough quarters into it to beat it. Galaga? Galaga is probably my all-time favorite retro arcade machine. It's also my mom's favorite, so she would love it too, but I actually got fairly good at it. By standards of being better at it than probably a lot of people my age. Spy Hunter would be really cool to have. That's my dad's all-time favorite arcade machine. And it's really, really uniquely made. Like, it has, like, gas pedals and everything, and all the controls for weapons and stuff. It's pretty cool. Because of the Star Labs. Now this is pod racing! Hey, sweet! Yeah, you missed the beginning of the stream when I was talking about today's basically my Saturday for this week. Because of absolute bullshit that happened over the weekend, I basically worked 7 days straight. So today and tomorrow I'm off. Long story. I would deal with a mixture of incompetence from Delta and work thinking that it should be more important than having a weekend available. But yeah, I'd love to have those. What are some of the other ones I would love to have? Oh, I know exactly which arcade machine I would so freaking love to have in the house if I could afford one. Arctic Thunder. I played that game so much at like Chuck E. Cheese or whatever place I went to. I think it was Celebration Station actually was the name of it. I played that game so freaking much. Hydro Thunder was good too, but Arctic Thunder, that was my shit. I used to win free games on it all the time. I had one time when I got like 7 or 8 free games in a row, I remember, like maybe on a birthday back when I was like 8 years old or something. Oh my god, that was the shit. I would love to see that one. I would love to own that. It has a PS2 game, by the way, so... It has a PS2 game with retro achievements on it, but it's really hard because that game rubber bands like crazy. Like, worse than almost any game I've ever played. At least the PS2 version does. God, I remember that game. I spent so much time playing that one back as a child. So much fun. So yeah, those are some of the games I would love to own. Rampage. Rampage would be pretty cool, but I never really... Not a lot of arcades I've been to had that. A couple have, but it's not one that I grew up on compared to some of the other ones. That's America for you. Somewhat. Part of it is the most boomeriest boomer to ever boomer being my CEO. But again, he is no Adam. He's a stereotypical boomer. He's not a satanic piece of shit like Adam was. He's just a boomer being a boomer. He's just a boomer being a boomer. He's not a piece of satanic shit like Adam was. Which means he just does boomery things. It's obnoxious, but I've dealt with far, far worse in my life. And plus, he likes me because I make him a lot of money. So he actually likes me because of that. Because I make him lots of money, and that's what those people care about. Is money. They don't care if you're going to be an asshole to people. If you're making him a shitload of money, he's not going to do anything to you. Which is what I'm doing. I'm making him a shitload of money, so he's not gonna care. I could probably insult him to his face, and he probably wouldn't care because I'm making him so much money. I'm not gonna try that, don't get me wrong, but he's not gonna care because I'm making him so much money. And that's all they care about is money. So. It was easy enough. As long as I keep making him money, I can be as much of an asshole to people as I probably want to be. Not saying that I am, just to the Indian, but... You found Arctic Thunder on the OG Xbox at GameStop yesterday? Oh man, it's such a fun game. I don't care what anyone says, it's a freaking fun game. Even on console, it's fun. And let me guess, they can't make it up here, can they? Oh no, we can still make it. Okay, fine. House of the Dead Machine, that'd be cool. Get the hard worker leverage. I mean, really more than anything, it's just the fact that I make him a lot of money leverage, so he's gonna turn a blind eye if I insult people. Or him, for that matter, because he's making insane amounts of money off my back, so he doesn't care what I say as long as the money keeps flowing. Real simple. Again, it's not like how Adam was. Satanic piece of shit like Adam. Boomers care about money. They care about having money and hoarding it. If I'm making money, he doesn't give a shit about anything else, so easy enough. Much easier to appease people like that. As long as I keep making him money, he's not gonna care. And he's not gonna want to lose one of his best money makers either. Out of all the research staff, or the research coordinators at least, I make him the most money out of all of them, so... He certainly doesn't want to lose someone that's making him a lot of money. So, job security's there, which is great given all the AI bullshit that's happening. Because my job is not going to get taken by AI. We're going to be one of the last fields to ever be affected by it. So, I'm really not worried about the AI stuff. I'm lucky enough to not have to be worried about it. Ever decided to expose his socials? Well, the only one that I know of for him was an Instagram, but I looked back on it at some point, and I can't officially guarantee it was actually him. I have good suspicion that it was, but I don't have any proof. And if I'm wrong, that means him suing for defamation because he's that kind of person. Question for everyone, Uncharted Relay, the only one that thinks Elena. Okay, so for me, I actually will agree with you on that. I personally am into Elena because A couple of reasons. For one, I'm into blondes. Blonde has always been my favorite, which admittedly is like most of my girlfriends, or my two longer-term girlfriends, were both blonde. So I'm typically more into blonde girls. But not always, because like the really, really pretty coworker I have that we sort of, you know, flirt on and off, that I guess is divorced now, but I'm not entirely sure it's official, that I would love to get with, is not blonde. She's a brunette, but an absolute 11 out of 10. With a really nice personality and all. Plus her other front desk person is another 10 out of 10. Not an 11 out of 10, but a 10 out of 10. Blonde. I'm typically more into blondes. And Elena is one of my all-time favorite names. I have a long... I don't know if I've told this story before, actually. I don't know if I've actually told this one before. Did I tell this story at some point or not? As to why I like that name. I honestly don't know if I ever did. Okay, you guys are getting a story time tonight then, because I honestly don't know if I ever told this story. This is gonna be one of the weirdest ones I've ever told in terms of just, like, most out there. Not creepy or anything, but just out there. Back in early teenage years, so I was... Chloe's the type of bad girl to sleep with. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I don't blame you. My Latina kind of FWB is black-haired. Because I can actually say I have an FWB for like the first time in my life, which is really, really weird to say. But, the story behind this... Okay, so we can't do anything about these lights because they're the red ones, so we can't do anything about it. It's one of my favorite female names. Not my favorite necessarily, but one of my favorites, so... We're gonna go all the way back to 13-year-old ZPTV123. Back before my balls even fully dropped, because back at that point in time, that was right before my squeaker voice went away. That was back, like, the earliest of early ZPTV videos me and Lizard Guy were recorded back in the day, and I still sounded like the most fucking squeakeriest squeaker to ever squeak on my Call of Duty and shit. Because I go back and listen to that noise of me talking in those old videos when I was like 13 years old, and just how cringy it is because it's so high-pitched. Because I hit puberty slightly later than a lot of guys, more at like 14 to like even 15 in a lot of ways. So I hit it a little bit later than a lot of guys do. But now I actually have a much deeper voice than quite a few guys out there. I mean, I didn't... It's weird for me, because, like, I did it a little bit later, because, like, I didn't stop growing until I was, like, 20, which is unusual for guys. Most guys stop by the time they're, like, 17. I didn't stop growing until I was, like, 20. So I just hit things a little bit later. Which, I mean, it happens. It's not a big deal. Hit puberty at 11. Yeah, I sure as hell did not hit puberty at 11. At 11, I didn't know what sex was. I was like 14 before I knew what oral sex was. I thought it was talking to people in a certain way. I'm not even joking with that one. I legit thought that oral sex was talking to people in a certain way. That's how innocent and or stupid I was. That's what I always thought when I was a teenager. Yeah. So that was my thing as a teenager. I thought oral sex was just talking to someone in a specific way. I didn't know what sex actually was. I didn't know what jerking off was until I was like 15. I was very innocent as a children. Very sheltered, very innocent as a children. And did not hit puberty until a little bit later. I'll explain it. Very pure, the type. She's got that sort of girl next door feel to her, I would say. Sex was at 8 or 9? I sure as hell didn't. I probably thought girls had cooties still at 8 or 9 years old. If I'm being honest, I probably did. Oh god, we're getting some fun moments of my old life here tonight. Okay, so back to the main story, though. Talked about me hitting puberty late compared to a lot of guys. And then ending it late as well. Though my voice was where it was now by the time I was 16. I hit the deep voice by 16 at least, so not really that late. Your voice is a little too deep for a woman. I don't know, like, I think some women have deeper voices. I don't think it's that unusual. Okay, you like the name Dolores? To me, that's like an old lady name, personally. It sounds like an older lady name to me. Is Anakin here? Okay, Anakin is here, so we can actually go through the child hatch. The short character hatch, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, let's go back to circa 13 years old would have been, doing some math here, 2008 or 2009. Either 2008 or 2009, one or the other. I think 2008. I went to a tennis camp at a college not too far away from where I lived. Because back then, I used to be a big tennis player in terms of not necessarily being great at it, but being forced to play it constantly. Sometimes against my will. Because my parents wanted to force me to play it, one reason or another. I'm not awful at it compared to most sports, but I was never going to be getting a college scholarship to play fucking tennis. I can promise you that one right now. I was never anywhere near that level of skill. So my parents probably pushed it a lot harder than they should have, because there was absolutely 0% chance I was ever going to be getting a scholarship or something from that. I had a far better chance of getting an academic scholarship of any kind, which, I mean, I did get some of my college covered by scholarship academic. No way in hell I was making anything athletic. Yeah, I did a tennis camp during the summer at a nearby college. And that year, for some reason, they had me do... Or was it after 7th grade? Maybe I was 12 to 13 at the time, actually. Okay, yeah, that's fair about the Velma character, but I'm just saying, like, Dolores, I'm gonna think of Dolores Umbridge, in all honesty, because that's the main Dolores name that I know. And the fact that I literally had Dolores Umbridge as my high school principal. I literally had a Dolores Umbridge as my high school principal, except for the fact that my class of 2014 was Gryffindor. As in, we got fucked over at every possible encounter. The class of 2015, 1 year below me, were the Slytherins that got everything handed to them for free. And were just absolutely loved by the administration. So, excuse me if I don't have an enjoyment of the name Dolores, because basically I lived through a Dolores Umbridge school principal lifetime, if that makes any sense. I basically lived as a Gryffindor under Dolores Umbridge, so not exactly pleased thinking about the name. From the movie Encanto, super pretty Colombian woman. Okay, but Colombian women are far more beautiful than Miss Dolores Umbridge, so... Okay, so when we get back to the story, though... So yeah, tennis camp in like 2007, 2008, or 2009, somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact year. When I was 13, though. I know it was when I was 13. So I go do that, and there's a girl there. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and I just remembered her being so beautiful for one reason or another. And like, when we were at the camp, she was just really, really sweet to me, which most women were not and are not. And that just sort of stuck with me. We were on like the same team when we did like a big competition at the end of the camp between all the different teams. And it was just like, I felt like there was just a bit of a connection there, like a weird connection for some reason. But it never got to go anywhere. I just always remembered her for some reason. She was the one person that I just always remembered from that. And again, I don't know why, but I just always did. Like, it never left my mind for any reason. She was just, again, she was actually, like, really nice to me, really friendly to me, which most women were not that way to me. And she was that pretty. I think we were right about the same age, maybe like a year apart or something like that. And just the name never left me after that. Just thought about it forever. Never forgot the name. I barely remember the looks, unfortunately, but I do remember that part. And yeah, just like a mystery long-time crush, I guess you could say. We're missing something, aren't we? We're missing a droid. Oh, great. Let me guess, we have to go all the way back up. Wonderful. For you, you prefer Italian women? Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that at all. Italian and Eastern European women are so pretty. I know Italy isn't necessarily Eastern Europe, but Eastern European women are so freaking pretty. Persian women, as we're seeing in Iran now. I did talk about this in an old Mario Party video from the old days. Okay, that actually doesn't surprise me. I probably would have talked about it back then, because it would have been more fresh on the mind. But yeah, like, Southern European, yeah. But yeah, it was just someone that I randomly had a massive crush on that I never got the chance to see again, but was actually nice to me, which, again, was something super unusual to me, to have a woman actually not be a bitch to me. Because even back then, women were just super bitchy to me at school. Like, I asked someone out at 13. Said no. Wouldn't even, you know, give the chance of, like, even hanging out or being friends or anything like that. Well, not necessarily not being friends, but just, like, no chance of anything happening. So it was just like, not even gonna give me a chance? You're gonna be that much of a bitch when that woman, the woman I'm talking about that I kind of asked out in school was not a 10 out of 10 by any means. Not at all a 10 out of 10. She was... Looking at her now, she was like a 6, probably. And wouldn't even give me a chance. So I was used to people, just women being super bitchy to me. And that girl was the sort of one exception that I remember from that time period, so... It stuck with me. It was different. It stuck with me. And sadly, nothing ever got to come from it because I wouldn't even know the last name, so... Who the hell knows who she was, where she is now, or anything else about her. But yeah, that is one hell of a long story from my younger. There's a cup floating in midair currently. Is it going to arrive on the table anytime today, or is it just going to sit there? Still remember, that's crazy though, because I wouldn't remember talking about it. But I mean, I'm not surprised that I did back in those days. Which the funny thing is, we actually still have some Mario Party 8 stuff that never got released. Drunk games from later years, back when I was in college. There's still like 3 of them that I haven't released yet. Just never really got around to it. What I'll probably do for those is just do them as like a supercut. Like, just do a single long video of each of those 3 remaining games. But that was back on the old camera. I'm not even sure I can still edit that in Premiere Pro. Because that service has been weird for editing for a while, with like not editing certain file types and such. But yeah, that is a very random, ancient story of my life. Is there something in here? Or is it just studs? I don't know, though. At 13, I wouldn't have even known, you know, what making out and sex actually was. Well, I probably wouldn't know what making out was, but I don't want to end up like the people on the Unexpected show, because this season on Unexpected is one of the random TLC, you know, Garbo shows that I watch. This season they have a couple on that show. It's like mainly about like teen pregnancy shit. Are the couples they typically follow. And one of the couples is a 15-year-old girl that got pregnant by a guy at the time was 12 years old. And I can't imagine anything like that. I mean, teen pregnancy obviously is a thing. I know people that are teen parents. One of my coworkers actually was 17. But 15 and fucking 12 or 13? Like, what the actual fuck? What the fuck is TLC on to be showing that shit, honestly? Is the bigger question I have. Like, at what point are you going too far as a network? I mean, I can't even imagine. You thought you lost your wallet when you went to Queens, was freaking out because it had a bunch of personal things inside, but found fell inside of your car seat. Didn't know where it was for 2 days. Thank God you found it, man. I'm just glad you found it. Yeah, remember, I thought oral sex was talking to someone in a weird way until I was like 16. I didn't know what jerking off was until I was fucking 15. I was very innocent as a children, if you can't tell. Oh, I love talking about the weird things from my life. I lived a very weirdly sheltered type of life for someone who's an active YouTuber that swears like a sailor in the modern era. Okay, I don't know if we can get to that one right now. I think we're going to need a super jump character up there to get to it, but we can go over here. I freed the pilot while also probably killing him, but that's okay, because it didn't punish me. Okay, good. We hit True Jedi mode. That's what matters. I was a little bit worried on this chapter that we might not hit it. It was also funny because back in that day and age, we would actually make fun of people that did well on the sex ed units that we had in school. Because here's another random thing. We did not have one sex ed unit in school. We had like fucking 4. We had them in, I think, 5th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade. I don't know if that's a common thing to have happen, but we legit had some sort of sex ed 4 different fucking years. For some reason. I have no idea why. And I have no idea why they skipped 7th grade, because I'm pretty sure that's at 13 is when most of that shit starts happening. So you do it at like 11 years old and 12 years old, but not at 13, and then again at 14 or 15? Like, what the actual fuck? My school was fucking weird, if you guys couldn't tell. Remember, my school took us to a fucking petting zoo instead of a senior skip day senior year, which I still skipped. That was their idea of a fun day, or an excuse for senior skip day, was a fucking petting zoo 2 hours away from the school. So my school was really fucking weird. And I still resent the higher-ups in that school, and several of the teachers. I love a few of the teachers that were there at the time. Most of the people there, I absolutely resent, and hope they all go burn in hell. Started getting sick lately, don't know what's going on, as soon as it started getting warmer, you got a cold. I wonder if it's like an upper respiratory type of thing, because we had something going around the office recently. Now, somehow I didn't get it. But we definitely had something going around. I think it's like... Maybe this is weird to say, but like, does the seasons changing potentially do something with some of that? I do wonder about that. Like, seasons changing, maybe that actually does something that messes with allergy parts of the body or something, if any of that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know. I really don't. Maybe it does? Okay, we can't get up to there. That's fine. We'll get it during free play, because we have to go back to every non-vehicle level in free play anyway. Yeah, that was some of the shit I dealt with back in school, so... Yeah, our sex ed made no sense. It was like 5th grade, 6th grade, not 7th grade, but then 8th grade and 9th grade. And we would make fun of people for doing well on the sex ed tests that we would get. Even the people that I know were much more knowledgeable than I was would make fun of the people that did well on those exams and such, or those tests, whatever you want to call them. Because when I got like a 70 on the one in 8th grade, that was normal. Most people got around that grade, so I was totally normal there. And we made fun of the people who got 90 or 100 on it. And our science teacher wasn't happy with people that didn't do well on it. Which is fair, he was actually a good guy. He was one of my favorite teachers we had. But he wasn't happy if we didn't do super well on it, so... Because he didn't want teen pregnancy, which is totally fair. He didn't want sexually transmitted diseases to go around people, which is totally fair. He was a good guy, though. He was a really good teacher. Actually, really cared about stuff, cared about the students. Very good teacher. Although I will still say the whole cloud identifying unit that he had was completely pointless, because no one except for a meteorologist is going to care about what the clouds look like. And cloud identifying is really dumb. Again, it's not something that actually matters unless you actually are going to be a fucking meteorologist or something. Yeah, great teacher. That was a really fun class. That was one of I had a lot of really good science teachers in my school life. The elementary school science teacher was wonderful. She was great. She was one of my favorite teachers of all time. Wonderful woman. Loved doing the sciencey stuff. Was actually quite close with my family, so she was great. 7th grade science teacher was good. 8th grade science teacher was awesome. 9th grade and 12th grade science teacher that did both physics and engineering. Wonderful guy, super smart. Made the classes super, super interesting. 10th grade science was chemistry. I was terrible at it, and the professor literally looked like Alan Rickman as Professor Snape. I've said that before. But the class was easy. 11th grade, Mr. Bowman can go fuck himself, and I hope he throws himself off a cliff someday because he was a piece of shit that thought that depression was fake. And then the 6th grade science teacher might have been a pedophile, but we're not going to go into that tonight. He might have been a pedophile. We have reason to believe that he was, but I'm not going into that tonight. Alright, we're doing great so far. I need to go take a piss. I'll be right back, and we will continue on with more of LEGO Star Wars. Alright, much better. And yeah, with that science teacher, as great as he was, it was still really funny. I still remember this very well. He got so fucking pissed off when one of the other students said something was retarded. He got so fucking pissed off at that. Because he said it in conversation with me, so the teacher was just like immediately jumped on the other dude. He got so pissed off when he used that word. And this was, 2010. Or 2009. This was a time when that word was being said 10 million times per Call of Duty lobby. This was before the current resurgence of the word. Very thankful it came back, because it's so fitting for so much stuff. But he got so fucking pissed off at that. I still remember that one. Because he was saying something with that word in a conversation with me, and the teacher was just... He got so fucking pissed off, so I just sort of, like, shut up and just listened. You had to tag when you saw that post on Twitter. Which one? Anytime I sneeze, I start to cough like crazy for a short time. I don't know why. So I'm sure that he can't stand the modern era where it's like that word has actually returned to the modern dialogue. The same way that making fun of Indians has returned to common dialogue, or been brought into normal dialogue. Because I have our Indian employee that does nothing. Her name in my phone is Retarded Jeet, and I have no qualms about it. Because she is. She deserves to be called that. Because the Indians fucking ruin anything that they can fucking touch. They're trying to bring back private messages on YouTube, even though it got removed because people were sexually exploiting minors with it. That's actually why they removed it. So of course the Indians bring that back. The new Indian CEOs bring that back within a year. Because of course they do. Like, if I had met one Indian in my life that didn't fucking screw me over, it might be different, but it's literally every single one of them. I have not had a single positive interaction in my entire existence with an Indian. People in Japan are not happy with them in the modern day and want them gone. And I don't blame them at all. Because I'm fully in the whole idea of deporting every single one of them. I don't care if they're here legally, they shouldn't be here. They hate this country, they hate white people. They hate other Asians, they think they're inferior. And we can't actually do anything with that because that is an R2-D2 or C-3PO door. So we can't do anything with that. And thankfully, whatever company it was just fired the ones that were dancing on the not the Washington Monument, the World War II Monument. It's like we go and save the world, save these people, and then they go and do their idiotic TikTok dances on graves of actual American soldiers. And I mean, the point of view among young people right now is a lot more hardline than even mine are when it comes to Indians and other third worlders in general. The opinions are not kind to them right now. I mean, again, if they could spend, if they could have one encounter in my entire life where they didn't try to screw me over in some way, it'd be different. But there's literally not a single encounter in my entire life where I've dealt with an Indian that wasn't a piece of shit. Not a single one. That includes an Indian doctor that I saw for exactly one visit and then switched up. Because dude was a complete asshole, didn't listen to me at all, didn't let me talk at all, was a very much I'm smarter than you kind of person. And was completely unhelpful. Lo and behold, my current doctor is a white man, and he's actually a good fucking doctor. God forbid that that's actually a thing that happens. Though, I still think my hometown doctor is the best I'll ever have, so there's that. Caught me at a bad time. Yeah, I'm raging against Indians right now, Chris. Because they keep doing things that royally piss me off and cause serious problems for my company. Hope I get well soon. I mean, I don't know what the coughing is. It's like... anytime I sneeze, I start coughing. There might be something blooming, though, because the temperature here is currently, like, super, super nice. So it's like... let me pull up the weather app. Yeah, it's been the 60s, 70s, even 80s, so all the spring stuff is blooming. So it's probably allergies. It's most likely allergies, because I always get them around this time of year, and I didn't take Zyrtec for, like, the last week. So it's probably allergies. So I just gotta remember to start taking my Zyrtec daily again. Which I have coworkers dealing with the same thing. Like, it happens this time of year if you're not careful about it. I've always had bad issues with allergies for some reason. I don't know why. I've always had kind of bad issues with it, though. Your fam went to church on Saturday and was pouring rain, so your mom wheelchaired, couldn't leave the car. Oh, damn, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Had to go back home and come back on Sunday. At least you guys got to go. That's what matters. God doesn't care how you get there or when you go. He does not care. If you're there, that's what matters at some point in time. That's what matters. But sorry to hear that. Yeah, all he cares is that you're there. It doesn't matter how you dress. It doesn't matter what day you show up. None of that matters. Just being there is what matters. And, like, it was a little bit rainy for me when I was in Texas. It wasn't that bad, though. Like, it was super windy, though, on Friday. And, by the way, that mini kit out there we cannot get. We need R2-D2 to get it. Yeah, I think my allergies, I think it's that time of the year. So I need to make sure to take my damn Zyrtec in the future. Issues yourself, stuff. Oh, gotcha, gotcha. That's how I have to do during, like, peak allergy season. Which might have started early this year. It did not start this early last year, I don't think. I think last year was pretty mild from what I remember. Yeah, last year was pretty mild from what I remember compared to this year. Like, we had a very cold winter, but it didn't last that long. And some of it is probably, like, something as, like, a side effect of me being overweight. Which, if I can get onto the GLP-1, which, again, hopefully is going to be a thing that happens, that's something I actually can fix. As I start eating less, I will lose weight, because that is my biggest problem, is eating too much. Not saying I eat well, but I definitely eat too much. And, like, for me, I mean, I like vegetables, I don't like fruit, though, is the thing. Like, I do not like fruit of any type. I hate fruit. I hate almost all fruits. I'd much rather have vegetables over fruit, personally. I feel like that's a really weird opinion to have, though. Like, I'd much rather have vegetables over fruit. That can't be a common opinion, right? I would take most vegetables any day over most fruits. weigh too shy of 330 pounds all day and drink a lot of zero sugar soda. I've like tried to get rid of a lot of my soda, at least the non-diet or non-zero sugar versions. But I definitely snack a lot. That doesn't help. So yeah, hopefully I can get onto the Zep-Pound is the one my doctor wants me to try, so if it works, that'd be amazing. Like, the funny thing is, my mom, she went on to one of them, it wasn't the Zep-Pound, it was either the Wegovy or one of the other ones. It wasn't Zep-Pound, though. But she went on to one of them, and she lost a good bit of weight on it, but in all honesty, she really didn't need to lose the weight. Compared to someone like myself, she did not need to lose the weight. Because she was close to being a pretty healthy weight already. Oh, that destroys the platform. I didn't know it did that. Okay, we will get these in free play. Not a problem. I just didn't know it was going to do that. I did not know it was going to actually do that. I thought it just brought it down. Whoops. It's fine. We got to replay every level that's not vehicle-based anyway. It's not a big deal. No, Qui-Gon, you got shocked, hit, stabbed. I don't know what the word is. Easy enough battle. If you played this game before, easy enough battle. Alright, 2 more hits. Prefer fruit, but that's just you. Only veggies you eat are carrots, cauliflower, and celery. And, like, those are not even vegetables that I like. I don't like carrots at all. And celery, to me, is just green water. For me, with vegetables, onions, potatoes, sweet potatoes occasionally, broccoli, corn, peppers. I fucking love peppers. Onions. I fucking love onions. Those are a lot of mine that I eat. There's some that I don't eat. I don't touch eggplant. I don't touch spinach. I don't touch Brussels sprouts. I don't like any of those. Peas. Peas are fine if they're in like a fried rice or something to where you can just swallow them without tasting them. Non-caffeine drink mix called Gamer Sups. I've heard that it's good, but when it comes to caffeine, I just drink black coffee anyway. Dark Maul cleared, let's go. Yeah, I drink coffee and tea black, or plain, whatever you want to call it for tea. It's nice doing another LEGO game. It's been a little while. I love LEGO games. I absolutely do. And with that, we finish off episode 1, so we're 1/3 of the way through the story. Let's go. Yeah, I drink my coffee black. If I drink tea, I don't put anything in it. But I don't drink a lot of tea. Mostly chamomile. That's the only kind of tea that I typically drink. Which is meant to be for relaxation anyway. And this game does not have a completion tracker. It is the only one in the series that doesn't have a percentage tracker. Which is super weird. Just got the platinum for My Sims Kingdom. Got all the trophies, didn't get any bug trophies. All the figurines was a pain in the ass. Oh boy, I'm so looking forward to dealing with that shit. Oh boy, that's gonna be fun. Darth Maul is cheap. Wow, he is a cheap date. Only 18,000 studs. That's like nothing. So we have all characters needed for free play stuff. But I think we're going to start out with Attack on the Clones next. I loved My Sims. My Sims Kingdom, I have not been a huge fan of personally. I don't hate it by any means, but I don't love it. Chichi wa omoshiroi desu. If you're wondering why I'm saying random Japanese phrases, I am also slightly working on my Duolingo right now because I forgot to do it earlier in the day. Because I slept for half the day and did errands for the rest of the day. Just got the Plat 4 Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Next up is you'll be finishing Resident Evil Requiem. Nice, nice. Very nicely done. Some are only found by harvesting dandelions. Some only appear 15% of the time. Wonderful. So it's going to be a lot of RNG garbage, is what you're saying. Which I'm not surprised. The first game has some RNG stuff to it, but not to that level. It's good to know. It's very good to know. I mean, I love the original My Sims. My Sims Kingdom, though, was not a huge fan of what I've played so far. Can't get to this without a super jump, can we? Nope. Well, we'll get it later. Nope. All good. At least now I know. At least now I know. I'll get it done eventually. It's just not going to get streamed anymore because it just does not pull in, like, any views. Like, it's super negative for view count. Naomi-san wa yume ii desu ka? This is going to confuse a lot of people, isn't it? Goal. This is going to be really weird, isn't it? Trying to do this in this. I don't know what 4 is in Japanese. It's Ion. I can't listen right now. Oh god, I probably should have actually looked at this. Haven't gotten the ground bacon trophy yet. I have not gotten that yet. Bacon by prospecting around the Geno's Kitchen in Cowboy Junction. Okay, use the live streams of that game while playing the game yourself. Gotcha. It's, yeah, because I like My Sims Kingdom, but it's just kind of boring and slow. It just doesn't pull any views. The original My Sims, though, was a very fun time. I actually had a lot of fun playing through that one again. Younger brother is Ototo. I actually got that one correct. Yeah, I got that one wrong. Well, I'll figure it out later. I'll get it done before midnight. It's not... nothing else matters. I'll get it done before midnight. I don't think this gives you anything, but just in case it does... Okay. It's just studs. I was hoping it might actually give me a mini kit or something. It may not. It may just be this. Put it back in the closet. More studs. Cool. I mean, the less we have to go back for stuff, the better. Because the stud requirements become a little bit more difficult on free play mode, by the way. For those who don't know, it actually becomes a little bit more difficult on free play. Okay, hit that. Let's kick it. May have left for Requiem as insanity using an ink ribbon. Okay, that's not bad at all, then. One other thing I want to say that can save a lot of frustration. My Sims Kingdom has a menu option to show you what figurines you have. You can look at the guide. That is good to know then, because there is a guide currently on PSN profiles for the game. So that is actually very good to know. If there's a guide that can tell me exactly what I have and what I'm missing, that's actually very helpful. So I am definitely glad to hear that. Anything to make that grind a little bit less painful. Okay, I don't know if he can actually do this here, if we can't do it until later, but it's a protocol droid, never mind. But that's good to know, because there is a good guide on PSN profiles right now that tells not only like just the platinum, but just like a full completion guide, so it's a couple of different guides for the game. Lifeguard season's coming up soon. Ooh, that's good, so you can make a little bit of extra cash. A little bit of that cash money. Do it again or not. I say, like, if you can make some good money out of it, do it. Yeah, if you can make some good money out of it, I would say do it. If it's not going to be very good money, I can understand going for something else. If you can make some decent money out of it, because you're still in college and all, it might be worth considering. Doing some Duolingo there. Yeah, I would say, like, if the money's going to be good, consider doing it again. Just so you have some extra spending money for stuff. If not, maybe find something that might be better. All them studs. And nothing we can do about that right now, but we can do this. Never mind, that actually is what I have to do. Probably need to, since the Vietnam War era folks messed up the job market. Okay, yep, that's very true. The boomers fucked up my area of work and won't retire and give it over to someone who could actually do a good job. Because, God forbid, we give up our $12 million and our 12 houses or whatever we have. Because half the boomer class has not really actually worked for most of their lives. Sitting around doing nothing is not a job. I wish they would understand that, but they don't. Ooh, my favorite Easter egg in the game is coming up. Because, yeah, we have to work 10 times as hard as they did for lifestyles a quarter of what they had. But we now have a good song to play, which is going to make up for good things tonight. Gonna make life good. And actually, we're going to turn the music back on for this, because it's wonderful. It's not even playing! The hell? I thought the music was gonna play. What? Why did the music not play? I'm sad now. If the music doesn't play, there's no point in me even having the music on. Darn it! It's my favorite Easter egg in the game. It's a great Easter egg that's in a lot of games in this series. I'm kind of sad about that, actually. I was hoping for some good music. Do-do, do, do-do, do, do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do, do, do-do, do, do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do, do. Do 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 to do 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 to do 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 do. All right, there should be something behind us here, correct? I think there is. There's a platform. I don't... Oh, it's just studs. Okay, I think there was actually a collectible out there. Keep it as a part-time, so you need to focus on transferring colleges. Oh, okay, yeah, definitely. If you can make money out of it, definitely hold on to it. Get lighter by the time you get back to work. I would just say, as long as you have a job, just that's the focus. Make sure you have a job. Doesn't matter if you're light or heavy or what, but as long as you have a job. It's gonna be what they want you to have, what society is demanding. No matter how much they screw you over, you gotta do the job. That mini-kit caused me a lot of problems in my first playthrough of this game, so we will get it later. We got more than enough studs, which is great. Sure, I do that as well. Okay, gotcha. That ledge is a little bit of a problem. My daughter is a nice person. Oh, great. Now it's asking for phonetics or whatever that word is called. Haha! That wasn't correct. It's weird trying to do this while also playing the game. This is probably going to come out really weird. Your boss is chill. That's good. It'd be nice to have a boss that's being chill. My current boss is my old boss at my old job, but is certainly not as chill as she used to be. I am expected to give up every second of every day of my life because I'm single and childless to accommodate the Indian bitch that refuses to do any work. I must change my entire life schedule around and do everything according to the Indian bitch's schedule because it refuses to actually do its work. It's an it, it's not a human because it's not a fucking human. Indians are not actually humans, they are a subhuman species that should not exist. Unit. Figure out this Kyoto sentence. Okay, this fight's easy. This fight is actually very easy. Oh no, I died. I don't care. Missile. I'd admit you call racist, but to be honest, don't know of any Indian native that wasn't a scammer. And that's the thing, is there aren't very many that are actually good people. I have gotten fucked over so many times by Indians, including in previous work opportunities. My first job after moving down to South Carolina was with an Indian. And she got rid of me with no reason, with no explanation, for simply being white. Well, white looking, I'm technically Asian, but she just got rid of me because she didn't like me. Did not have any actual reason for it. I was doing a good job. Actually, no, it's because she was mad that I wasn't lying and telling people there were no side effects to medications they were going to be taking as part of a clinical trial. She was mad that I was telling them that if they took the medication, there would be potential side effects. She was mad that I warned them that legitimately angry because it's like, you clearly don't care about the lives of your patients. You care about making the money from the trials. You do not care about them having potential side effects that could be potentially deadly. Because guess what? We have people that die in clinical trials. That happened to one of my coworkers a week ago. So that's part of why I'm super angry about this. Because they did not care about the lives of the patients that they supposedly served. They cared about the money. That's all they cared about. I get that healthcare is a money-making industry, but if you only care about that and not about keeping people fucking alive, that is a serious issue to me. If you're gonna fire people for not telling them the risk of an experimental drug that has not been approved by any federal agency, then you're a piece of shit. If you're going to fire me for telling them about the risks of an experimental medicine that has not been approved, you're not the good person in this scenario. Got friends that are Indians, but do come across many of their scammers. I don't know any that are good people. Even in high school, they were terrible people. And that's just my whole thing, is that I've had to deal with this shit for so long, and it's like, am I supposed to sacrifice my life and my health so that Indians be happy about stuff? Fuck no. Because they would absolutely let you die if it gets them a profit. They don't care. Maybe it is a personal experience. Maybe it is only me, but when it's happened to me so many times at this point, I have to have at least some amount of criticism. I have to have some amount of concern. I can think for myself. I'm not a hive-minded type of person. I can think for myself. If they're going to act in that way where they literally do not care about their patients, I'm going to have concerns about them. Because I've seen it firsthand. And it scares me. The idea that people are seeing these kind of so-called doctors and entrusting them with their lives. Because I wouldn't trust them for a second. After the shit that I've seen, I wouldn't trust them for a second. is all my own experience. These are all things I've seen happen in life. These are not anecdotes. These are actual things I've seen happen working in healthcare. And I mean, I've talked before about how just fucking corrupt the clinical research field is, and I'm not gonna go against that. Like, our field is fucking corrupt as shit. They will kill you if it makes them a profit. They don't care. It is that simple. Clinical research, they will kill you if it has any sort of chance of a profit. They don't care who it hurts. They really don't. Gotta be in the area because every doctor you've had was of Indian ancestors. Not every doctor I've had, but I've had a couple that are. They don't know what they're doing. They just order tests. They bark orders at you without actually giving you any advice or help. They don't care, is the thing. They don't care if anything happens to you because they still get paid. They don't care about actually keeping you healthy. I can't do anything about that here, unfortunately. Yeah, they don't care about keeping you healthy. They care about keeping you as a patient. And they will openly lie to you and screw you over if you can get money out of, if they can get money out of you. That's how they are. It's sad to say, but it's actually true because I've literally worked for the people that do this. It sucks, it's disgusting, but it's unfortunately the truth. And people aren't ready to hear that. Because again, I haven't met a single one that wasn't trying to actively screw me over in life. Where's Anakin? Because, yeah, I have to deal with them constantly, and they don't care about human life. They only care about making money. And they have no problem killing you if it makes them more money than not killing you. They really don't care. Because the doctor I had, he was an Indian. He did not care about anything that I had to say. He didn't care about any concerns that I potentially had. He only said, you know, listen to me, only listen to what I have to say, don't listen to yourself. Your opinions don't matter. I'm going to give you blood tests, and that's it. And nothing else. I'm not going to actually give you any help. I'm going to give you blood tests. And if there's something wrong, I'm not going to help you. You're just going to know that that's what's wrong with you. And that's the way I've been treated by him, so I have a very negative perception of that. And it's like, I have a person I went to high school with that's now a doctor. It's an Indian. Who, she thinks it's like the greatest thing in the world, like she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. She's a fucking cosmetic surgery as her, like, focus. Cosmetic surgery is one of the most useless things in terms of, like, the idea of humanity, the idea of like, being a human. It's the most pointless thing you could possibly do. Like, you're gonna change people's faces to make them look better. I research drugs that will actually save people's lives for a living. We are not the same, but you think that you're superior is the problem. I help to create drugs that will actually save lives. That actually will, scientifically at this point, proven, save lives. Your whole job is you will give people plastic surgery to make their faces look better. You are not a better person. You are not benefiting society. You are seeking money and nothing else. You do not care about humanity. You do not care about science. You do not care about saving people's lives. You don't care. And it's that simple. And that pisses me off. I get it. A lot of doctors are narcissists. I'm not going to deny that. But, like, if your only focus in life is you want to make money versus actually improving people's lives in any sort of meaningful way, then great. You're going to get your wish. I'm going to call you out for being a piece of shit that shouldn't exist because you're not actually doing anything that helps humanity. That's why I so much wish the medbed things were not a conspiracy, but actually real. The idea of actually being able to save people with a medbed instead of actually forcing them to sit through this kind of bullshit would be amazing. But sadly, I can't find any true evidence or proof that the medbeds are actually real. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm wrong. But I suspect that they are a lie. We're in a job of people's insecurities, which is profitable too. Very true. But it's like, please just do something that's actually beneficial to humanity instead of scamming people. That's all I'm asking for. That is not a lot to ask. Like, do something that is actually beneficial to the human race rather than screwing them over every possible chance you get. Because that's what our Indians do. They just screw you over. They don't care about anything else. They just care about making the money. They're just simply not good people. Now, I would like to see them actually be punished for once. Can't get it without a super jump character, that's fine. Oh yeah, on the plane I got to watch The Running Man. Finally got to see it. Interesting movie. I like Glenn Powell. The movie fit the overall theme of the original book, so that's good. It's leftist propaganda, to be fair, overall. But it ain't that bad. Speaking of stuff like that, we got the Super Mario movie coming out in like a month from now, which I'm super excited for. But that's gonna be something I see like near day one. I can't wait for that. The Force. Yeah, I can't wait for the Super Mario movie. I'm super excited for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Level cleared, wonderful. Skip! This is a short level. We get to play as Master Windu. This one also has a pretty low stud requirement from what I remember. Alright, how many studs does it want me to get? Okay, that's over 10%. That's not bad. Padme, you were rescued. Now let's get Anakin out of his prison. Well, I don't know how to get up there without a super jump character, so I guess we're going to come back here with a super jump character. What I'm going to do about this? We don't have 2 Force characters. I am surprised that hit me. Come on, Mace Windu. Late had a busy day. Gotta be up at 9 tomorrow for a few Zoom meetings. Oh man, I know the feeling. That was me this whole weekend. Because this is currently my Saturday, and tomorrow is my current Sunday because of all the bullshit with work. I know the feeling because today is basically my Sunday, or Saturday, I mean, and tomorrow is basically my Sunday. Excellent. Now we gotta get Obi-Wan. Got a CPR course tomorrow, so hopefully be very excited. That's good. That is a very, very good skill to have, and I wish that it was required in every school in America, in my opinion. I think it should be required in every single school. Because it is a skill that can actually save lives. Absolutely can save lives. Damn, I'm taking damage here. Mini kit. Almost. Of course it stopped. Yes, it did. Getting a haircut and Applebee's tomorrow. Nice, nice. How was the trip? It was really annoying, to be honest. I talked about this earlier in the stream, but my trip to Dallas was miserable. just shit happening constantly, flight delays, having to spend an extra night in Atlanta, which is a really shitty place to stay. It was not a fun time, personally. I would not recommend it, and don't want to deal with it anytime soon. Okay, so we don't have a small character for this, so that's fine. We can get that later. Ooh, what about this one? Hang on. I might be able to do something here. Protect me. Okay, that created a mini kit. What am I supposed to do to get up there? Take a walk for that trophy. 22, we need 5 stars from all locations. So hear that? I heard about the flight attendants in the hotel. And that was nice. Like, it was literally... If I had to stay there for an extra night, I would have been in a hotel filled with Emirates Air flight attendants, the absolute 10 out of 10 Persian beauties that any guy would come for with no issue whatsoever. Just a bunch of absolute flight attendant beauties, red dresses, high heels, all the good stuff. I'm not saying I would have had a chance with one of them, but I'm saying that maybe I would have had a chance with one of them. Just because of numbers. This was me there, and the rest of the people there were just like random other flight people. We need one more super battle droid. Here's the last super battle droid. Why is he not here? Best case scenario to happen? Heck yeah. That'd be the greatest thing ever. Get stuck there with a bunch of Emirates Air beauties. I would do literally anything to make them happy. They want dinner, I will give them dinner. They want drinks, I will give them drinks. They want, like, massage or something, they will get a massage. I do not care. A bunch of Emirati's beauties, I will do whatever for. Hear that, pretty? Alright, let's chop his head off. Yeah, I could have a very fun evening with them if I was confident enough to actually flirt with them and they would actually give me a chance. Wish my dick's big enough, maybe it would be enough, but I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what they're into. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna finish off episode 2 tonight. That's my goal. Not alone in one in the traps desert with beautiful ladies. Have never kissed a girl. Need kiss before you die. That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that you haven't had one at all. Because I've at least kissed girls before. A number. Alright, time for Gunship Cavalry. I don't like this level. This is one I'm probably going to have to replay because it's really dumb. It's highly unlikely I'll actually be able to get through this one. Shit, so that's fine. I can move over anyway, it's not that big a deal. Well, what was I supposed to do? He pulled me straight into it. What was I supposed to do? Come on, game! Quit screwing me over, just let me finish the damn level. Near enough, we're going to need invincibility to get through this level. I don't know what the game wanted me to do there. Come on. We're gonna get the studs later, apparently. Come on, you stupid game! Okay, we're definitely not finishing this tonight, that's for sure. Might get all the mini kits, but not the completion. that's not bad. Oh, we got all the mini kits. I'll take it. Well, what was I supposed to do, developers? What did you want from me? Excuse me, I beat it. Come on, game. You can't lie and say that I didn't beat it that time. Come on now. Come on, you stupid game! Come on, go down! Not take as many hits to kill. Go down. Is it that much to ask for? Come on, you stupid game! What am I supposed to do? There's nothing I can do. This game is being stupid. It's not giving me a chance. Thank you. Are you going to let it last? Nope, you're not. Fuck you, game. Seriously, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I die in one hit! Just let me kill the stupid targets, for the love of God! It does not matter how many hits I get on them. The game doesn't care. It just screws me. Come on, you stupid game! What do you want me to do? There's no chance I can make it now because of the fucking time limit. The developers never tested this achievement. They never tested this aspect of the game. It is very clear this was not tested. God forbid the players or the developers actually test an aspect of their game that is going to be required to be played. God forbid they actually test their fucking game. God forbid that's too much to fucking ask for, clearly. It doesn't matter, there's not enough time. Yeah, God forbid the game actually tests you. God forbid it actually works. Still in the full fucking target. What am I supposed to do? What the fuck do you expect me to do, you stupid game? Seriously, what am I expected to do with that? You're not giving me enough time. Can you give me enough time to actually do your retarded objective? Clearly not. Can you give me enough time to do your stupid objective, for the love of God? Is that too much to ask for? Clearly it is. Okay, make this objective possible, for the love of God. Can you at least make this objective possible? What the fuck you gonna do? Targets don't get this. What the fuck you gonna do? I have to hit the targets 20 plus fucking times to kill it. This is not an issue on the other version of the game. The other version of this game played this fairly. This version does not. This version does not care. This version does not care about playing fair. It cares about making this as unfair as possible. Go down, you stupid laser! That was with 1 second left. That mission was awful. This game hates me, that's for sure. This game absolutely hates me. Done. This is the last level of tonight. I'm going to bed after this. Let's get this done. This game hates me, though. That's very clear. So this is our final level for tonight. Let's finish episode 2. We have no studs, so we might as well go for it. Yeah, we have no studs, might as well go for it. Excellent mini kit. So, what's he doing next? Bunch of Geonosian guards. Jumping Anakin. That's fine, we'll come back to this level later. Not a big deal. I think one of the miscellaneous here, just damage count Dooku will be fine. Oops. Not good enough, apparently. There we go. Still not enough. There we go. Go to the Yoda part of the fight. Now Master Yoda shows up. We have to die as him, by the way, so let me go ahead and knock out that achievement. There we go. There we go. Yoda achievement done. I will take it. Alright, Yoda. Deflect the Force Lightning, please. Ooh, we may have to come back to this in free play just for the studs. But good for you, Yoda. Good for you for killing him. I will take it. I will absolutely take it. And there we go, episode 2 is cleared. Let's go. Well, thank y'all for watching. I am tired. I'm ready to go to bed. Good stream tonight. We are off to episode 3 of this game. Good progress so far. Probably 2 more streams to finish this game. 1 to do a lot of the miscellaneous stuff. And then I will grind all the studs off screen for all the important stuff. So yeah, most likely I will see you guys back here in the next day or 2 for whatever the next stream ends up being. So thank y'all for watching. See y'all back here real soon for some more content.